Learning to Subtract, Part 1 by Jeff Simpson. This video is for teachers and parents of students who are learning to subtract for the first time, or for students who tried before and didn't get it. Just as children learn to talk before they learn to read, they need to experience subtraction before they see it in written form. Here's what can go wrong if students try to deal with subtraction notation before they experience the concept. Subtracting looks a lot like adding, so they confuse it with adding. For example, when they see 6 plus 4, they think of 6 objects and 4 other objects, which they then add together. And when they see 6 minus 4, they also think of 6 objects and 4 other objects. And they try to take the 4 other objects away from the first 6 objects, which cannot be done. When they see 6 minus 4, they should take away 4 from the original 6. Subtracting by physically taking objects away is a fairly simple concept. If you begin by doing that and then follow with writing, the students will not be so confused. Here is a subtraction activity you can do with one child or a small group. This activity establishes the concept and feel of subtraction, and it leads to the written form too. Gather several pennies and put them into a bowl. Or you can do this activity with $1 bills using play money. Say to the child, "Give me 2 pennies from the bowl." Extend your hand to receive the coins. Now say, "Good. Now, take 1 penny away from me." Extend your hand so he can take 1 penny away. "Good. Now, tell me, how many pennies do I have now?" "That's right. I have 1 penny now." "Okay, let's put our pennies back in the bowl." Here are 2 ways to alter this activity so you can do it with a whole class. 1. Instead of teacher and student, have pairs of students take turns giving and taking away with each other. Or have each student draw a big hand on a piece of paper and give the hand a name like Mom or Bob. Then the children give the pennies to the hand and take them away. Back to the lesson. Say, this time give me 3 pennies. Now take 1 penny away. Close your hand to hide the remaining coins and ask, I wonder how many pennies are in my hand now. What do you think? Use a respectful, "I'm curious" tone of voice, not a "you're supposed to know this" demanding tone of voice. If the child does not know or is uncertain, open your hands so the coins can be counted. Always acknowledge their answer. "That's right, I have 2 pennies." Continue in order in this way, asking for 4 pennies, then 5, then 6, and so on. Always asking the student to take away 1. For most children, do not try to vary this process or make it more interesting by taking away 2 or 3 and so on. What is obvious to you can be confusing to others. And remember, this lesson is for students who have never subtracted before and might not even be very good at adding. This lesson should make subtraction as obvious and stress-free and fail-proof as possible. For more gifted children, however, it may be possible to vary the lesson without causing confusion. After the student takes away 1, then ask how many you have left. For some special ed students, do not ask how many are left at this point. until they have had several opportunities to just get used to following two directions. Give me this many and take away one. If the student is unsure, have her count the pennies remaining in your hand. Always give the pupil confirmation by saying yes, or good, or that's what I was thinking too, and so on. When the student answers incorrectly, say, let's see if you're right. Count them. After a while, change the game with what I call a transition to print. Get a piece of paper and a pencil, or write on the blackboard so the whole class can see. Instead of telling the child how many pennies to give you, write the number on the paper as you say, this time give me this many pennies. This turns the written number into an action prompt. The number tells the student what to do. Do not say the number when you write it, or some students will only pay attention to what you said and not to what you wrote. Then, continue as usual, asking the child to take one away and asking how many are left. After a while, extend your transition to print. Say, give me this many pennies, write the number, and take away, write the takeaway sign as you say the words, 1. Point to the minus sign that you wrote and say, this is how I write take away. Then continue as usual, asking how many pennies are left. After doing several problems at this level, extend your transition to print again. Say, give me, write the number, and do this, write -1 after it. And now, tell me how many pennies I have left. Do a few more problems like this. At this point, you can show how to write the answer with the equal sign, or you can wait till later, as I will demonstrate in the next video, Learning to Subtract Part 2. These lessons are presented in a child-friendly manner in Chapter 5 of my new kindergarten math book, and they're also introduced on page 17 of Adding and Subtracting in my Discover the Basics math series. You can find my books on our website, masterylearningsystems.com. You can also buy chapters from my kindergarten math book on this website, teacherspayteachers.com.